Hey guys, welcome to another recap of the amazing race. Last time, the volleyballers Katie and Rachel were eliminated. They were in Norway and they are going to St Petersburg, Ruska. Alright, so, or in other words, Russia. Taking a train, a plane, and a car to the Columns Monument. Everybody's on the same train, so there's no need to hurry. And it doesn't leave until the next day. And everyone pretty much had a really great time on the train because they got to spend a lot of time getting to know the person that they were on the race with and some of the other teams as well, even if they were only smelling each other's shoes. Alright. All teams ended up on the same flight as well, and Chad was pissed for nothing because they ended up getting the last taxi and he thought it was the end of the world, but it wasn't, so get over it. And Nick had some words of wisdom. I like how they keep all the old buildings instead of blowing them up. Yeah, because I guess he's used to Vegas, where they just, a casino becomes 5 minutes old and they have to blow it up. Build a new one, bigger, better. Alright, so it's time for a detour. Classical music or classical cinema? I was waiting for this one because, if you don't know already, I work in a music studio, so I like when they use the pianos. It's pretty cool. Alright, so for classical music, you had to find the maestro, listen to 3 gramophones, figure out which pianos were playing the compositions that were on the gramophones, put them in a folder in order of, you know, the gramophones, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, it was really hard. Classical cinema was no easier. They had a film, you had to go to the film studio, the soundstage, search through the film clips to find a clip of the film that was playing on the screen. I mean, there was like gazillion strips of film. Gazillion. Alright, so, you know, the classical music one was especially hard because the pieces that they were playing weren't like mainstream pieces that the average person has heard before, like Mussorgsky, Rimsky-Korsakov, and Tchaikovsky. I mean, everybody knows like Nutcracker Suite, but not everybody knows this other stuff. So Brook and Claire got lost in the taxi. Didn't matter so much because these 2 tasks took a long time. Everybody ended up doing the film one except for Chad and Stephanie. They wouldn't quit. They started on the music one and they stayed on the music one. It took them a super long time, but they stuck with it and they got through it, so kudos to them. And Nick and Vicky. No, not Vic and Nikki. Is it Nick and Vicky? I don't know. Yeah, it's Nick and Vicky. Hey, Nick and Vicky. Alright, they started out on the music one. They switched over to the film one. They were like, no, let's go back to the music one. They broke it down piece by piece and they got it done. I mean, that's what you probably should have done to really get it, because a lot of the classical music does sound alike, especially composers from a certain country, you know, the same country. So yeah. Alright, so they had to go to the Palace Square next, where the clue said, go to a store in Alexandroskaya. It's a roadblock, and it's the Russian drag race. Well, Nick thought it was like a drag race, and not that it was like dress up like a woman. Alright, so there's these baboushka ladies, and they're in charge of like planting the fields and everything. They are freaking hard workers, let me tell you. I would not want to meet them in a dark alley. But they were really sweet. You know, they just look a little imposing, but they got hearts of gold. Alright, so you have to dress up and plant a row of 50 potatoes. But that's not just planting potatoes, that's putting cow poop in with the potatoes. And that's disgusting. FYI, there's a lot of dogs in Russia. It seemed like every time they would turn in the corner, there was another dog ready to rip their heads off. The ladies loved Kevin. They were nothing but encouraging to Kevin. He's a sweet guy. What do you want? You know, if Michael had done it, they probably would have been all over him like flies on you know what, manure. Alright, and the guys, they couldn't help Mallory where she was going, but they were inviting her in for some vodka, let me tell you. She was having a real problem finding the Duck's End place where you get the wheelbarrow. And Stephanie, She did kind of a little bitch move. She threw the shovel on top of the pile of manure so that the next person would have to climb up there and get it. And it just so happened that it was Mallory, and Mallory's about 2 feet tall. So her shoe came off in the manure and it was disgusting. All right, she had to climb the mountain of poop. So she was covered in poop, basically. So the pit stop, St. Isaccs Cathedral, coming in first, edging out Michael and Kevin because they didn't know where the hell they were when it came time to go to the pit stop. Yeah, they came in first, Jill and Thomas, and they won a trip for 2 to Sao Paulo, Brazil. All right, and I don't know why I did that. I just felt like it. It's Halloween. And Brook and Claire came in second, and then Michael and Kevin finally realized that it was in the park. They came in third, Nat and Kat in fourth, Chad and Stephanie in fifth. Way to hang in there, guys. Gary and Mallory in sixth, and in seventh place, Nick and Vicky. Now, when the race started, I didn't really like them so much because, you know, he had a bad attitude. He was B.A. Baracus. But this is a non-elimination leg. I haven't had anything to drink tonight, I swear. All right, so I really haven't. It's a non-elimination leg. And I'm kind of glad that it is because I really liked the epiphany that Nick had on this leg of the race. He turned out to be not so much of a jerk at this point. So I'm kind of glad that they're going to have a second chance. So go team Nick and Vicky. Next time they're going to the circus. That looks like fun. And Michael strikes out. No, don't take my Michael out of the race. Till next week, much love.